What if I told you that thousands of years ago, people built things so advanced, we still struggle to understand them today? Civilizations long gone, with no computers, no modern tools, no electricity. Yet they created technologies so ingenious, some of them still outperform what we build today. In this video, we're diving into 7 ancient inventions that were centuries, even millennia, ahead of their time. And trust me, by the end, you'll see history a little differently. Imagine building something today, and knowing it will last not for decades, not for centuries, but for thousands of years, without crumbling. That's exactly what the Romans managed to do. Roman concrete, known as opus caementicium, has puzzled scientists for years. While our modern concrete often cracks and deteriorates within a few decades, Roman structures like the Colosseum and aqueducts have stood strong for over 2,000 years, enduring earthquakes, floods, and wars. But here's the wild part: Roman concrete can literally heal itself. Researchers discovered that the secret lies in small chunks of lime embedded in the mix. When water seeps into cracks, these lime particles react with the water and carbon dioxide, forming new minerals that literally seal the cracks from within. So, while modern engineers are constantly repairing roads and buildings, the Romans built structures that fix themselves. Today, scientists are actively trying to reverse engineer this recipe, because in many ways, it's superior to the concrete we use now. Now, let's move from stone to something more delicate: crystal. Over the years, archaeologists have found mysterious, finely crafted crystal lenses dating back thousands of years. Some of the most famous examples were discovered in Mesopotamia and Assyria, regions where people were carving rock and metal, yet somehow managed to shape quartz crystals into perfect polished lenses. These lenses are so precise that they could magnify objects, essentially functioning like primitive magnifying glasses, or even components for telescopes, long before such tools were invented. Some scholars believe they were used for intricate craftsmanship, like detailed carvings or medical work. Others speculate they may have been used in astronomy, allowing ancient stargazers to study the heavens with incredible precision. Think about it. We often imagine ancient people squinting at the stars or carving rough tools. But discoveries like these prove they had knowledge and skills we barely give them credit for. Picture this: you're walking through the dense jungles of Central America. Beneath the layers of soil and trees lies something extraordinary: a sprawling network of canals, reservoirs, and underground pipes, all built by civilizations like the Maya over 1,000 years ago. The Maya weren't just city builders, they were hydraulic engineers. In cities like Tikal and Palenque, they created vast systems to collect and purify rainwater. Some of these systems used natural sand filters and stone reservoirs, providing entire cities with fresh, clean water, even during brutal droughts. Meanwhile, across the ocean, the Hittites and Persians developed pressurized water pipelines and sophisticated aqueducts. The Persians even invented something called qanats, underground tunnels that transported water from mountains to cities across miles of desert. These systems were so efficient that some are still used in Iran today. What's fascinating is how precise these systems were, considering the builders had no modern measuring tools, pumps, or machinery. They relied entirely on ingenuity, mathematics, and the natural landscape, creating plumbing so reliable that many of their techniques are now studied by modern engineers. Robots. Most people think of them as a product of the 20th century, maybe the late 19th at best. But in China, over 1,000 years ago, inventors were already building mechanical machines that moved, played music, and even performed tricks. One famous example comes from the 8th century Tang dynasty, a mechanical figure of a monk built by a craftsman named Yan Shi. This automaton could walk, bow, and wave its arms, powered by an intricate system of gears and weights. Some records even describe life-sized figures playing musical instruments during royal banquets. Later, during the Song dynasty, inventors created mechanical clocks with miniature figurines that moved and rang bells at precise times. These weren't just novelties. They were feats of engineering, combining art, mechanics, and science centuries before Europe's Renaissance automata. Though few of these devices survived, descriptions of them show how advanced Chinese engineering really was. They weren't building robots for factories, of course, but their creations showed an understanding of mechanics that wouldn't be rivaled in the West for hundreds of years. Medicine is another field where the ancients sometimes outpaced expectations. Over 2,000 years ago, in ancient India, physicians following the teachings of Sushruta, often called the father of surgery, were using tools and techniques that Europe wouldn't adopt until the Renaissance. The Sushruta Samhita, a Sanskrit text, describes procedures like cataract removal, reconstructive surgery, and even early forms of plastic surgery. To perform these operations, Indian doctors used specialized instruments, scalpels, forceps, probes, needles, crafted with remarkable precision for their time. One of the most famous techniques described is nasal reconstruction, rebuilding noses using skin from the forehead, a procedure so advanced it shocked European surgeons when they discovered it centuries later. These practices demonstrate that while Europe was still in its medical dark ages, other parts of the world were pushing the boundaries of science and care, using tools and methods that wouldn't be rediscovered for generations. Imagine being a sailor in the 7th century, facing the Byzantine navy. Suddenly, their ships unleash a blazing substance, a liquid fire that clings to water, spreads across the sea, and cannot be extinguished. Buckets of water make it burn hotter. Sand, vinegar, even attempts to smother it. Nothing works. This terrifying weapon was known as Greek fire. The exact formula was a closely guarded secret, and to this day, historians still don't know exactly how it was made. Some believe it involved a mix of petroleum, pine resin, and sulfur. Others think it may have used a chemical reaction that caused it to ignite on contact with air or water. What we do know is that it gave the Byzantine Empire a nearly unstoppable naval advantage for centuries. The recipe was so secret that it was eventually lost to time, and even now, modern chemists can't fully replicate it with the same properties described in historical texts. It's a stark reminder that not all ancient technology was purely constructive. Some of it, like Greek fire, was designed to terrify and dominate. Long before phones, radios, or even the electrical telegraph, some civilizations had their own high-speed communication networks, using nothing more than light, fire, and clever engineering. In ancient Persia, the Achaemenid Empire, around 500 BCE, developed a system of signal towers stretching across vast distances. Using mirrors by day and fires by night, messages could travel hundreds of kilometers in a single day, a speed no horse messenger could match. China, during the Han Dynasty, had its own version, beacon towers along the Great Wall. Soldiers used smoke signals and fire beacons to warn of invasions, sending alerts across thousands of kilometers in hours. While these systems seem simple today, they were remarkably effective for their time. They allowed empires to respond to threats and coordinate over massive territories, centuries before the invention of electricity or modern communications. So, what do all these discoveries have in common? They prove that history isn't a straight line of progress. Time and time again, civilizations developed knowledge, skills, and technologies far beyond what we typically credit them for. Some of those ideas were lost for centuries, only to be rediscovered in the modern age. And it makes you wonder, how much more could be buried beneath the sands and jungles of our planet? How many secrets of our past remain waiting to be uncovered? And how would they change our understanding of human history? If you enjoyed uncovering these incredible inventions, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that challenge what we think we know about the past. Because history is far more mysterious than we imagine.